Hello.
Morning. I mean, good night.
Yeah. Let's eat. I'm having like this yeah, because I just um break the fast. I continued another 7. So I broke it and yeah, I'm just eating dark Kit Kat.
Nice. That's cool.
It's good. Actually it's like um since I get used to it, I don't have the urge to eat. It's not that I'm starving, it's just that you don't you don't feel hungry, or you don't have that need to eat.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like, um for example, if I'm having headache, maybe because of the sugar drop, I just eat something that's within like below 1,000 calorie. So
Hmm.
I'm just keeping it like, um on a healthy content,
Yeah.
or on a healthy measure. And when it regards to sugar, I just, yeah, mindful of, it's below 25 grams, like that.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's all good.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, okay, Lord, just help me through this. I want to make this a lifestyle. But yeah, I think I can handle it.
That's
Just breaking it, or for example, if like I will be invited to a party or whatever, then yeah, that's the time you eat. But then, since my stomach is, I think, adjusted to not carrying a big amount of food, I cannot like, um yeah, even a cup of rice, I cannot finish it.
yeah. Yeah.
No, it's good.
Yep. I know. It's funny I remember the first time I fasted for a long time like that. And I went to break my fast and I made soup and I could only have like 3 bites and I was full because my stomach
Yeah,
had shrunk so much from fasting that long. So
it's
yeah, it's
good.
crazy. Hi, Renelle.
Hi, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Kom sini Pak dong.
Hmm.
Sorry, just getting my dog to sit still.
How is she doing?
She's doing really well. Um, really, really well.
Yay.
What seemed like a very awful incident. Like you asked these questions, why do these things happen? Anyway, when I spoke to the vet on Friday, it was such a miracle that she's not been hurt or injured. Could have been so much worse that I just thought, you know what? It's just incredible. So then I was just praising the Lord because it could have gone so much worse. If the
That's
stick had
awesome.
gone the other way, she would have been really, really, really could have had awfully injured. So, and then all of a sudden it wasn't such a big thing anymore.
Oh, good. That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Good. Ah, well, let's wait one more minute and see if anyone pops on and then we will get started, okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I'll message you. Hold on.
Glee's not going to be here. I already know.
Oh, yes, to message you.
Yeah, she messaged me. She said that her family's doing something and she can't come on today.
Yeah. Okay.
And Pearl wasn't sure. Oh, here's Pearl anyway. She wasn't sure if she would be able to make it because she's I think she has some choir thing or something. I can't remember, but she was going to try to do it in the car at least.
Mm-hmm. She's still in the States?
No, she's back in the UK.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Pearl.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What did you
Um,
say?
I'm not sure how much you would hear or see of me. I've just pulled up on the hard shoulder. So I'm just making sure I'm safe to join you. And then I'm going to continue the journey. So
Okay.
if you don't hear or see me, then know I'm here.
Okay, sounds good. No
Okay.
problem.
All righty.
Well,
Nice to see you all.
You
You
too.
too.
As you get going, would you mind if I try to start with you, Pearl?
Okay, go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm wondering, did you find anything new about your identity this week?
Sorry, say that again. I missed you.
Did you find out anything new about your identity this week?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Share.
I am a flame.
Just like
Um,
me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that time when we were in Neasden after our mikveh, and the light of God just came into the middle of my head, my spirit. Like this weekend, that light is now showing that I have a flame, and and the flame is not only the usual, which is light in darkness, but also I can be a dangerous flame in that to burn other things that's not of him.
That is awesome.
I know. It's just amazing.
That's so cool. That's interesting. I was thinking about this. I feel like I can say this to you guys. I don't have the same ideas of hell that I used to have. And so, but I was thinking about this, when in the scripture it talks about they'll be thrown into the flames and even into the lake of fire. And we experienced even Pearl when we were at the Refresh Retreat in London. We experienced the river of fire and this lake of fire that were refining fires, and they were what purifies and what gets all the nasty junk off. And anyway, it's interesting because you were saying you're a purifying fire too, and I believe that that's really the fire of Holy Spirit specifically is a refining fire. And everything that I think we thought of as hell as punishment is not as accurate as the burning fire to purify and refine. And so, anyway, I was just thinking of that when you were talking and how, it just lines up with how the Father is. He goes and he creates this crazy fire and it purifies everything.
And the fact that it's on my head, is that where you have yours, or you just feel it all over?
I'm just a fiery being. So, like, all over, I would say.
So that's really strange, because a lady at the conference gave me an image of like a warrior person with a sword, and she's just covered in flames, and her sword is a sword of flames.
I have a sword of fire as well. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A flaming sword. Yeah, that's funny. So maybe I was with you.
Oh, amen. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
That's
I'm going to
funny.
mute myself because I'm very conscious that you might be hearing a lot of traffic. So I put myself on mute.
Okay. But I doubt we'll hear the traffic, just so you know. But you can mute
Okay.
yourself anyway. It's fine.
Okay. Alrighty. Hi, everyone.
All right. Well, obviously we kind of already got started, but I would love for you guys to also share. Hazel and Renelle, is there anything that the Lord showed you about yourself this week? Oh, am I unstable? Ah, did you hear me? Are you?
Yeah, you're okay.
Oh, you okay? Weird. All of you froze, so I figured it was me. Sorry about that. So, how about Hazel? Can you start? Is there anything that the Lord showed you about yourself this week?
Oh yeah. It's very interesting because I didn't even notice it because I thought I was just like, when something died, I mean someone died or like a family member, relative, or friends. Maybe I thought that I was just like sympathetic or always the first to come over to console family or I don't know, even since then, even when I was like in my younger years, like I'm not a pastor, I'm not a minister, but then they would always call me to, oh, go get Hazel, oh, go fetch her something, we want her to pray for us or pray for the bereaved family or this and that. I didn't even notice that because it's like, yeah, maybe I'm just, sympathizing or just being one with the family. And then recently, like, the Lord reminded me that I wired, you don't even notice it, but I wired you that way. That when I lost my parents, I didn't even grieve. It's like, because maybe I don't know, because I'm an only child, and I think I grieve because my mind is busy switching to survival mode or something, like, oh my goodness, I'm just alone. So I didn't grieve. It's just that my mind is busy of thinking, oh, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go to school or something like that? So it's like I forgot that I'm supposed to grieve or feel something sad, or I didn't even cry because I don't know. Maybe the Lord sustained me as well. And yeah, just recently, was like an opening. I'm really thankful for the Lord because when He gives you something or He imparted, when He called you for something or it's part of your identity, He will support it all the way through. So I was offered to be like a hospital and hospice chaplain. There's a school, online school for that which is free, and maybe it will take 3 months as well. And it has a international license and also certification. So it's like it's really a huge opening of opportunity, and the same time that, oh, I just didn't realize that, oh yeah, I've been like, to everyone during their bereavement or in the morning days when their loved ones pass away or whatever. But yeah, I didn't notice it that it's on me ever since. It's just that I thought maybe I'm just, sympathetic or just being supportive to a mourning family. But then the Lord opened it like right now, or this week I had this, why not, you go sign up for this and then go, because you've been helped for a lot uh, of of people or like friends, relatives, and like, yeah, last June I was also called to a friend's entire wake of her mom, of their parents, I mean of their mom. And yeah, they just, instead of staying there 3 days, I was there for like 3 weeks because they said like, oh yeah, just stay with us until, we can't, I think we can't get through if the reality that mom is already gone, this and that. At least when you're here, every time we feel something or we needed someone to pray for us, you're there or something like that. So yeah, I just know, thank God for another confirmation for that, because yeah, I thought it was just, just something a little thing for me, but actually it's from the Lord.
Sorry,
It's part of
Hazel,
my
sorry,
identity.
Hazel, can I interrupt? I'm struggling to follow you. I know it's because of the traffic. If you were to use one word or phrase to describe your identity, what would you say it is?
It's like not a sympathizer, but when it's like someone is bereaving, they
And you feel what they feel.
yeah, I pray for
Okay,
them, and
lovely.
even my
Is
presence.
it like you feel what they feel? Sorry, I'm missing you.
Yeah,
Okay, lovely.
I'll
Thank
just
you.
be there.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, being there somehow, yeah, just being there. Not necessarily like I have to pray every day or
I've got
whatever.
you.
Just,
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, I've got you.
yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that's it. And looking forward for yeah. Actually, I'm signing up next month because I said I'd prepare myself for it, for the entire online class with it. So yeah, I hope that it will not interfere with our schedules that I have, but it's something to look forward to, and I thank God for reminding me and giving the opportunity. I just amazed at how he backs it up, because I thought it's just like, yeah, I never thought of it, and I thought it's just like, a little thing, or I just just randomly, or yeah, I didn't really thought of it until a couple of relatives and friends call it out, like, yeah, why not, and then they introduced me to this, and yeah, it's also an opening. Maybe it's a new season for me to get involved with.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. Thank you. That's awesome. Renelle, how about you?
Hello. Yes, I've got my homework going in two directions because they're overlapping a little bit. So if I switch from one to the other, it's okay. It all comes this way. But I've got two books, so they come out of the notes are different. So I'm trying to keep it in line. I initially thought that the Lord told me initially that I need to be in this season of rest after the busy time. But then he also clearly showed me that he's also preparing me for the next season. And this time is not going to be long. It's just a little bit of a rest, but he's preparing me for the next season. And I was so, what's the word? It was so clear to me when I had this meeting with a friend last week, who's a believer, but not knowing the real reality, because she's still very caught up into religion. Anyway, it was as if the Lord told me so clearly that I don't have to minister to people by using words. I can do it in many different ways, and that's how I touch people's lives, by shining his light. Where you're talking about flame, I definitely know I'm light. But also in engaging, I have this knowing that I can actually mean more to people in the spirit. I can share my love to people who understand and know, but for those who don't, I need to try and convince them, like you said as well, Christine. But I can do so much more in the spirit, and I need to be open for learning how to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that's what this whole class is about. It's about really learning to minister from the heavenly realms more than the earth. So when I say more than the earth, it translates into the earth when you do it. But it's a totally different perspective than just ministering in the earth, which is what, I've done all of my, I would say, adult life anyway. I have been ministering from the earth and in the spirit realm of the earth. And the Lord has shown just a better and higher way, which is ministering from the heavenly realms into the earth. And so it really is a different perspective, and it's a different way of functioning in the spirit. And so even Hazel, as you were talking about doing the bereavement stuff, I've been very similar to you in that way. I have been a person who's been called to be there for people during death, during that whole experience for most of my life. And one of the things that the Lord has shown me is that this has been really on purpose. In fact, I've said to people many times, I would be perfect for, doing funerals and, that sort of thing, because I love that rich soil. I really do. I love when people are in that state and open to receive. But the Lord showed me that it's a higher purpose than I even understood, that I have a purpose as the world starts to change and transition into the new world. When we have the restoration of all things, it is interesting because a new world forms, but this old world dies off. And so it is a very strange restoration, but also almost like the pruning, you know what I mean? And because I'm called to that, the Lord showed me that I have to be acquainted with sorrow and acquainted with death, even though I'm not partnering with death. And I'm partnering with life. And it's totally a different perspective to be able to minister from the heavenly realms in that sort of situation. Because most of my life, I've just been ministering from the earth in all of that. And it's different because you can partner with life in a different way when you're ministering from the heavenly realms. Anyway, okay, no more preaching. Ready to engage our heavenly classroom, guys? All right, let's do it. Let's focus back here. Is there anything that the Lord showed you while we were engaging that you feel like you should share? Hazel, go ahead.
Yeah, when I first entering the classroom, I saw like eagles. There are like the regular size one just walking freely into the room, and there is also like a big one, like very, very, very huge, like almost a statue big. And there's that eagle is together alongside with Lady Wisdom. They were like together side by side, and there is like a figure that's like I think 12 feet. He's it's not Horus, but it's sort of like half human, half eagle. But it's not the Horus, you know. And he's wearing like a toga, like you know when you're graduating you have that something we call it toga. I don't know how it's called in English, but I think yeah. And he was saying that this is a season of flying, or yeah, flying and everything that it um it represents height, that even with our battles, like you have to get wisdom with you, that your battles are not fought on earth. It's always up, so that you know when you, it's like how the eagle, when they bring their battles up, their enemies are not, because they are made for flight and height, and when their enemy is not, you know, they're losing oxygen or whatever. And yeah, you were right that we must learn. They were saying that they're not really talking like talking. It's sort of like a telepathy that they transfer information, that we learn to operate on the heights, not below. And that's also another meaning when the Spirit of the Lord is always inviting to come up higher or come up here. It's because there you have peace, you have clarity of information, clarity of mind, and everything up there. Because there are certain, like you know, when the enemy, and there are certain demons that cannot really go higher because yeah, they're just, you know, below. They're just created below, or I mean not below, but yeah, they're just below. Their level is, we're above them actually. And yeah, always bind wisdom, or always have wisdom with you. That's why there's like um you know, the representation of the eagle and Lady Wisdom is like they're the same actually, or they're sort of like they're telling that they're parallel. Only Lady Wisdom sometimes is on the softer side, and this eagle is saying also that um the training is like um it's not testing, but it's sort of like in life, or in a way, or in a season, we are polished or trained with circumstances, but wisdom will guide you through, and it will give strategies. So
Good.
yeah, it's amazing because they're talking telepathically. So oh yeah, I mean it's nice because when on that manner, it retains in you. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you do something, your tendency is like, especially if you're out of focus or something, when you hear something, there's a chance that you miss it, or you say, oh, what was that, or something. But when it's like delivered from the inside, or like yeah, it's sort of like planted within you, it has a retention.
That's
So yeah,
true.
I find
Absolutely. That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. All right. Anyone else have anything you'd like to share about when we're engaging?
I can just say something I saw that was very much similar to what Hazel said, in the sense of I saw rolling clouds, But you know, when you sometimes look at these pictures where they fast forwarded and the clouds go really fast, like yeah, on a fast forward setting,
Yeah.
that's what I saw. And the more we learn, the more we yield, the more we tune in, things will become we will accelerate.
Mhm.
And also things will be clearer. What now looks not so easy to understand will just become brighter and brighter and clearer. So the clouds went faster, but it all went all lighter. And yeah, that's the message I got. I think there was something else. Oh, and we all have a unique role, a very unique role, and all of that will become more clear to each and every one of us. So it goes with the clarity she just mentioned. So it's nice.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Pearl, anything you'd like to share?
I just saw, you know, when you're having a party and you burst the balloon and lots of confetti comes out of the balloon.
Yeah.
So this is just like in the air all over everyone. But also there is a blue balloon here, which I gave a Hazel.
She's freezing.
So saw her on, you know, this massive thick helium balloons, but they're called hoppers. They're not balloons. They're just like balls. Got two rubber handles you hold on to, and kids bounce on them. I think they're called hoppers. I'm not sure. So I saw her bouncing on them, and the balloon as well as the hopper is blue.
Nice. Cool. Thank you. All right. Well, today we are going to be talking mostly about imparting blessing. And so I want you to think about well, first of all, most people, I would say probably you guys are in the same boat. Most people, when they are introduced to heavenly realm stuff, it is the courts of heaven. And generally, it is because people are seeking cleansing of their bloodline, right? I don't know if this has been all of you guys. That wasn't me actually, but that is most people. I've come to realize that people are looking for cleansing because of basically bloodline curses, right? It's interesting because a lot of people will recognize the bad stuff in their bloodlines and they will not recognize the blessings in their bloodlines. Have you noticed? Have you ever seen anyone seek the blessings in their bloodlines?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, so some people do. I would say it is rare. From what I've seen, people generally are not thinking at all about the blessings, which is interesting. If you look at Old Testament stuff, how many times did you see sons, especially, going and like desperate to get the blessing of their father? Like, I want I want to be the one that gets the blessing. I need the blessing. Give me a blessing. You had people going after the blessing because they recognized the power of a blessing in a word and in impartation. If you think about impartation, imparting, you are planting something in someone. That's what you're doing. Okay, so a lot of people will want an impartation of the Holy Spirit or some sort of impartation of gifts, right? You will see people seeking that from prophets or something like that generally, right? As priests, we have the power of impartation. It is a very important part of being a priest, is imparting blessing. So I want you to think about, are there times that you are intentionally imparting blessing? Also, are there times you are intentionally or unintentionally imparting cursing? Okay, so I was just thinking about a problem I have. Especially if I'm driving down the road and I have some not very wise person who is speeding down the road around me, going 100 miles an hour on a 40-mile-per-hour road, I curse them. I do it every time. I don't know. I have to correct myself each time. It is a problem I have. When somebody does that, I immediately call them an idiot. I don't know why I do this, but I'm like, you're going to get yourself killed. I do this stuff out loud, but especially in my mind. Okay. Either way, I'm cursing them. And each time I have to go, no, never mind. I take that back. They will not die. They will live. And like, they're smart. They're just making bad choices. And so, I have a problem with cursing immediately when I see people do stuff like that. I'm sure there are other parts of my life where I do it. Okay. But that especially stands out to me as a problem I have. And, it is a way that I am cursing without meaning to. And so, anyway, I do this and I have to recognize I have power. I really do. I have great power. In the spirit, I have amazing power. Okay. I know that's true. And if I am using my power for the enemy, that is dumb. And so I have to recognize, no. I have to be the person who will go, oh, angels come around them and protect them. Please protect them and everybody they're coming across. I can actually impart good blessings around a person like that. I can protect them in the spirit instead. And so it's a total mind shift that we have to have. We know blessing and cursing, life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? How many times have we heard that? A million times, probably, at least for me. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. I want you to think of the things that you say to people all the time. I think it is easy for us parents. I know, Hazel, you're not a parent yet, right? Yes, but you might be a spiritual parent. It is easy for us to recognize these things, I think, as parents, if we say things that are blessing or cursing to our children. It's easier, at least for me. That's something that seems to be, I catch myself pretty easily if I start to say something that isn't life-giving. For me, I have had to change things even. This might sound silly, but I have a different relationship with each one of my kids. And maybe everybody's like this, but how I interact with Neva, who's my youngest, she's 13. She is extremely sensitive. Okay. Very sensitive girl. Will get offended at pretty much anything and get hurt by pretty much anything. This is it's just who she is. Okay. She's been like this forever. And so I know that I interact with her very differently than how I interact with, say, Soren, my oldest, who is 16. And he and I are actually really similar in this way. We're very witty and very, we joke around a lot. I can be smart and sassy and witty with Soren, and we know we're joking. We tease each other. We're always joking about who's smarter. We are constantly doing that. I could never do that with Neva. Okay. Because if I would say something about being smarter, she would take it as like, for real. This is, you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying she's dumb, and she would really take that. Well, sometimes I go too far with Soren, and we both do this. We're like, I say that I can never say anything that offends him. I know that he does not get easily offended. He knows I'm joking, I'm being sarcastic or something like that. He gets it. But sometimes I'm like, oh, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. And then I have to go, oh, wait, Chris. Okay. Don't do that. I have to make sure that I speak blessings over him, even when I'm joking. Like, even when I'm joking, that I'm speaking blessings, because there really is power in our words. And so there are times, even in joking, I have to make sure that I am blessing and not cursing, because it is serious, the frequency you put out. This is something that really does have power. And so, yes, Pearl, go ahead.
Please, miss. I might leave my mic on because I need to take my eyes off the road in order to switch it on. So if it's a lot noisy,
there's no noise, so don't worry at all.
Good. Oh, good. I'll leave it on then in that case.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about when you're having normal conversations. For example, there are times when in conversations, people would be highlighting someone's negative attributes or traits, which is well-intentioned, because they might not be doing well in a particular whatever it might be. I'm assuming from what you're saying, when you mentioned the joking, that is also a curse, because you are speaking death.
I would say probably, but maybe not necessarily all the time. So for instance, if you're talking about a struggle that someone has, I would say this. Okay, like for me, I have struggled with blessing and cursing myself in this way. I am currently struggling with blood sugar issues. That's real. I'm not cursing myself by saying that. That's what I've been going through. But I am trying to be careful about not calling myself a diabetic. Even though everyone would call me a diabetic, I'm trying to not call myself that, because I am now putting that on me. Right? So for instance, if someone goes out and has a one-night stand, and it is, a bad choice, and you love this person, and like, this is something that actually happened, you talking about that with them is probably the best way to do it, not with other people, unless they've shared with other people the struggle or something. But talking about that happening is not a curse. Condemning them for doing that, or saying that that's who they are, is a curse. And so I think it really matters how you speak of things. I have done the same thing with my middle daughter, Eden. Over her life, she has had a tendency of getting hurt a lot. And at one point, I called her clumsy, like not in a bad way, but, well, she's just clumsy, that sort of thing. And what the Lord showed me was I was cursing her when I was saying that, to then she would always be clumsy if I did that. And so I had to reverse the curse and put life back on it and say, no, she's not actually clumsy. There's no curse on her that she's going to be falling her whole life or whatever. That is not from the Lord. Just because she has gotten hurt, several times, does not mean that this is who she is as a person, and that she's going to continue to do this her whole life. Go ahead.
No, I love that. I really, really do love that, because I was at one point concerned. There are times when I would talk about someone's negative traits based on whatever the situation is, a context. And sometimes thinking, no, I shouldn't ever be talking about anyone. And I got a bit concerned that maybe I'm speaking negatively about them. But when you said you can talk perhaps about the issue, but don't condemn the person, don't say the person is, don't come to a summary about them. In other words, judging them to be something that God does not say that they are. So I love that explanation.
Thank you. Yeah,
But can I ask a question?
of course.
So, Paul, just what you said. So if I have this issue with my mother-in-law, we really don't have a relationship. But now, if people ask me when we spoke after the wedding about how did it go afterwards, and you know, I wouldn't go into detail. I wouldn't criticize her. But if I said things like, I don't really experience her. We don't have a relationship, and if I say something like, I understand why she does not. She's not happy. She's not in an happy marriage, so she doesn't. When people around her are happy, it makes her just lash out and be horrible. And it's because she's bitter, and inside she's not a happy person, and she doesn't allow people to be happy. So in me saying that, am I then cursing her by saying that? Because I can see where she's coming from and why she's hurting everyone around her. But is that then also a way of actually, I don't know how else to say it without just saying nothing. Maybe it's just better to say nothing.
I think it's probably better to say nothing in this sort of situation, because you even just saying that she's bitter and this sort of thing, it is putting a label on her.
On
It
her.
is, yeah.
On
And
her.
so there are things that she might be struggling. She might be struggling with bitterness, but
Yes,
she is
okay.
not bitter, right?
Better.
And
Understand.
so,
Yes, understand.
and it is okay to say, you know, she's struggling with things in her own life, which can cause a person to lash out,
Okay,
right?
fine. Understand.
So I suppose if we're just careful about how we
How
say
we
things,
say
we aren't
things.
labeling people.
Understand.
It's like if you said to her, you're bitter, she would probably be upset. Right? Because she would be like, that's not me. I'm not bitter. I mean, even if she is struggling with bitterness, it would be offensive to be called that.
Better, yeah.
And it makes sense, even if I am really having a terrible day. Okay, I'm having a really bad day. I am not having the best attitude, whatever. I don't need people saying these things about me to make it worse. Right? And I feel like what happens is we do that to people, especially if we're not around them, not intentionally trying to make them worse. I mean, but what we're doing is it's the same thing, because that it still has power, that same power as if they're in the room. And so it really can cause a big problem in their life without meaning to. You're creating a world for them. And that's what we do. We create with our language and with our frequency, with our voice. That's what we do. We create. And so we have to be careful about what kind of world we're creating. Are we creating a world that is full of blessing and honor and love? Or are we creating a world for them that is going to end in death and destruction? And so it's just like, I mean, going back to the, you know, fast motorcycle guy around me or something, right? You know, am I creating a world that ends in death for him? Or am I creating a world that ends in life and changes things around? Because that's what we have to think of with each person, with our family members, with everything. Are we creating a world that is blessing for them. And so if we just change our thinking to understand that we are creating a world for people when we speak, that is something that it helps, it really helps make things a little more tangible of what I'm saying, because we can go, oh, I'm not trying to create that world for them. I'm not trying to create a world where my friend who had a one night stand is now all the time having one night stands. I'm not trying to create that world. Now I'm trying to create a world of healing. And so how can I turn this back around to, this isn't who she is though. She is going through a time where she needs support, and so that's different if you are trying to create a world of blessing, right? Because impartation is planting that seed. That's what that is. And so if we're creating a world, we're planting a seed of blessing. And so we have to just be intentional about what we're doing. And I would say everyone has this power, but we as priests have more power for that. Okay, so we have a mandate for imparting. There you go. Imparting blessing. That's something that we have a mandate for. And so you need to think about what you're doing to yourself as well as others. This is very important. A lot of us have a tendency to say bad things about ourselves and think that it's no big deal because it's just ourselves. But our body receives every single one of the things that we say, and so does our soul. And so we have to be very careful. We are powerful spiritual beings. So if we are saying things about maybe we don't like how we look, okay? You don't like how you look about one thing. I don't know what it is. Everybody has something different. Maybe you feel like you're too fat, you're too skinny, you have flaws, you have these certain things that you don't like, your hair's getting gray, whatever it is, something that you don't like about yourself. Be sure you are not cursing yourself, that you still bless yourself. I mean, I'm getting gray hairs. I don't know if you can see my roots, but a little bit. You can kind of see I'm getting some white hairs, and I try to remember it is wisdom, even though I'm covering it up. It is wisdom, and I need to not be cursing my white hairs or my silver hairs. That's something that I need to be blessing. And the same thing with every single thing about us. I've lost a lot of weight and I have all this loose skin, and it is so strange. And to me, it doesn't feel very lovely. Okay. I have a tendency to be grossed out by these things. I have to be very intentional, and it's hard for me, but I try to do it every night. I put on this toning lotion that helps to get rid of that stuff. But when I do it, I'm blessing my skin for being so able to stretch out when I had the fat. Thank you for stretching and for allowing that and not just letting everything seep out. I mean, that's a real thing people deal with, by the way. And so, wow, thank you, skin, for being so wonderful to me. And I try to bless my body even when it's something that I struggle with. I would say even especially when it's something I struggle with, to try to appreciate it and change my mindset to bless my body and to really be grateful, even for the fat. Do you know what fat does? It it surrounds the toxins so it can't get into the rest of your body and destroy you. It's so cool. It sounds crazy. That is so beneficial to your body. I, for so many years, have cursed my fat. And I am trying now to really appreciate what it's done and also say, okay, it's time to detox. Let's get this stuff out. And so it's okay to release that and leave. but I have to make sure I'm doing it at the proper time, that it's what my body's okay with doing right now. But just to be able to appreciate these different things, it changes us. It changes who we are, because I feel better about myself today than I have in many, many years. And it's not because I've lost weight, because I actually haven't meant to lose weight. Actually, I know it's beneficial, but I have just been trying to care for my body and do whatever is healthy for it. That's what I've been doing. Like, I need my body in health. I want my body in health. And so I've just been focusing on, what does my body love and not love? What can I do and not do? That sort of thing for my body. And in doing that, I have had some of this weight come off. And I could tell you, I feel like I'm trading, fat for loose skin sometimes. And that's not always something that is ideal. It's very strange. But I feel so much better about my body, because I can tell that inwardly I am loving my body better. I can feel it. I feel like I'm loving my body better. And so I'm still growing every day. There are times when I'm like, why am I not producing insulin? And so then I'm like, okay, I have to love my pancreas better. I have to really pay attention to, loving on it and healing it. And what do I do to do that? And so instead of cursing, you have these tendencies to whatever you're struggling with, to like, oh, why is this such a big problem? Dang body. But you don't want to do that. You want to really love it. So think about the things that you have been cursing. Now let's think about blessings. All right. If we are going to turn these things around, reverse the curses, we have to repent for the curses, first of all. Okay. Really repent, because what we do is we allow demonic sort of things to take root if we curse. That's what we do. Right. And so we want to turn that around and repent for that, have that just completely released off of us. Anything that we have received from our parents or grandparents or whatever, reverse all of that, right? We know about the reversing the curses. Now let's talk about the blessing. We are going to intentionally ask for the blessing. Okay, just like those in the Old Testament did, they intentionally asked for the blessing. You can do that from your parents. I would say a more powerful thing is to do that from Father. Ask for the blessing from the Father. I'll tell you what, for a long time, I asked for favor from Father. I asked for favor. Hey, I want to be your favorite. That's really what I have asked for. I want to be your favorite. I'll do whatever you want. I love you. I want to be with you all the time. I want to be your girl. That's what I want. And
you just wanted to be John, the one who laid on Jesus's breast, didn't you?
I mean,
Chest.
do you know how much I've loved John my whole life? I don't know why, but for real, I have always, I think it's because 1 John 4, 7, and 8, I think it is, or 3, 7, 8. I can't remember, but the one that talks about love and how beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God, and he who loves not does not love God. That whole thing. That has been one of my very favorite verses forever. And I really feel like it's all about love. Everything is all about love. And so John, I have loved John because of this. And I feel more favored than John. I do. I feel more favored than John. And I feel like I was talking to someone. I often ask for favors from the Lord. I do. If some people beg him like a beggar, and I'm not really that person. I don't usually go, God, please, will you do this? I'll just be like, Lord, I know how much you love me and that you do things I don't deserve. So would you please just heal this person today? You know, when I do that, it's a favor I'm asking. I'm asking for a favor. And it sounds weird to ask for a favor from the Lord, but that's how I feel about it. And that's what I do. And I know he loves giving me the desires of my heart. And especially when it lines up with his ideal timeline. That's like, of course, he would love to give that to me. And so oftentimes I will ask for these things as a favor. And I will ask, hey, I'm going into this place. I know it seems like impossible to do this thing. I'm just asking, could I have a favor? Could you just favor me today and have them favor me? Would you, when I walk in, can they just love me for no reason? I would love if they just loved me and they did that for me, even though I don't deserve it. And there's no way that it's supposed to happen. And this happens a lot. It happens a lot because I know I'm blessed by the Lord. I have received
Amen.
that blessing. And I believe we can all do that because we are all sons. I still think I'm the favorite, so I don't know if you're going to measure up. I'm just
I'm going to have to top you with that one, Christine.
But we should all be the people who ask the Lord and want to stand in his favor and want to be the ones who are his representatives. And, you know, that's something that we should all want to do. And we should ask our Father for the blessing. We should be the one who's like, but I want the blessing, actually, you know? Because so many of us have lived a life of the pauper, like the one who doesn't deserve anything and so doesn't ask for anything. And if we do, we act like we probably won't get it. Right? I mean, how many times have you had people say, hey, will you pray for me? And when you pray, you're like, boy, I don't know if the Lord's going to do this one. And so, but you're praying anyway. I've done that before, but now I'm kind of like, I feel like the Lord will probably say yes if I ask for it. But I also know I can tell, I'm sensitive enough to the Lord's heart that I can tell if I shouldn't ask for it. And if I shouldn't ask for it, I don't ask for it. You know, if he's saying you're not supposed to be involved in this, or that's not what I'm trying to do here, I'm pretty sensitive to that. And so I back off. And so I think that's part of being favored as well, is he knows my heart is his heart. He knows my will is his will. And so it's just like Yeshua, you know, in the garden, he's going through this difficult thing and he's like, Lord, please, but I know I want your will more than my will. And that's just a favored son. He knows that he would rather have the Father's will than his will. And he's not cursing God. And I think that that's so important. I'll tell you what, I minister to people all the time who are cursing God for the situations they're in. That is not in me. I will not do that. I cannot do that. Like, I don't want to ever do that. I feel like, who am I? He knows way better than I know. And so if I'm in a situation, and the Lord is showing me that he's not lifting that, I mean, I'm going to trust that he knows better than me, and he's going to either teach me something really amazing or do some sort of awesome thing in his will because of my situation. And so I'm going to be okay with that. And I'm going to consider every situation a blessing. instead of a curse. I do not believe that Father's cursing me. I will not believe that he's cursing me. I will only believe that he has blessing in store for me. Because Romans 8:28, he works everything back together for the good of those who love him and who are called according to his purpose.
Amen.
I 100% believe that. That's like for sure. So even if it looks like crap, it is going to be turned around to be awesome. What the enemy means for evil, the Lord will turn to good every time. So,
Christine, I have a question then in that case.
sure.
What's the difference between a blessing and a favor? So when a couple of days before I went to America, I was saying to the Lord, because you said to me, Lord, that I should stop being stingy and I should ask big, I decided to ask him for an upgrade. And after I asked him for the upgrade, I saw myself like with an entourage towards the person in charge of the tickets. 2 people before me, as in the spiritual realm, 2 beings before me, I'm in the middle, and 2 behind me. And the 2 at the front, they were the ones who would go and sort out all the problems. I felt like royalty deep in my spirit in that thing. Like I was like a queen or princess or something like that. And they were the ones who are to go and take care of paperwork. And at the end of this, I said to him, even after I've asked for an upgrade, I then went back and said, but Lord, if you really don't want to give it to me and, I've paid for the seat, it's okay. Maybe you want me just to speak to someone, in the seat I've booked already. Left it at that. Long story short, I got to the airport. My boarding ticket didn't work. The lady called me over. She said, that's okay. Congratulations. We've upgraded you to business class. Is that a favor or is that a blessing, or are they both the same thing because I've asked?
I think it's both. I think it's the Lord showed you favor by upgrading you, but you asked for it. And so you asked for the blessing. And so it is a blessing. I would say anything that is in your favor is a blessing, right?
Amen.
And so you were asking for that impartation from the Father. And that's what we need to do, is ask, because we are kind of, this is so strange to say, but we are at the highest level as priests and kings. We are at the highest level. A king is the highest level, except for the King of Kings, right? Except for the Lord of Lords, except for the high priest over all of us priests. And so we know that we're at the highest level there can be. I am not just going to ask for blessing from humans. I'm going to ask for blessings from those above me. And those above me, that's the Father. That's Yeshua. Those 2 are who are going to do it. Holy Spirit will impart it in the earth, but they're imparting it to us. And so I'm going to ask for it from them. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to release blessing over everyone else. I'll tell you what, even I've thought about this with my family. My parents, they are not strong in the faith. Okay. They are all super supportive of the faith. And they trust me more than themselves in the faith. I know I am above them in the spirit. Now, that doesn't mean I won't respect them and honor them. Of course I will, because their position, they've been put over me in the earth. But spiritually speaking, I'm the one in charge of blessing them. I need to be blessing them in the spirit, because I have that power above them to bless them. I've been given the authority by the Father over my family mountain, and I'm supposed to be releasing blessing over them. So you need to think about who is in your care. It could be family. It could be people in the business world. It could be, who knows? I don't know what your mandates are, your different mountains are, but hopefully you figured out something about what you're governing. And if you have anything that you've been put in charge of, then you need to make sure that you are intentionally imparting blessing to them. I would even say perhaps daily that you should seek what you can give to them. Okay. You know how I've said every day Yeshua has a gift for you if you'll just ask for it? You're asking for the blessing. And so what
So,
I would,
so the gift is not only for me then, in that case, the gift is a gift for other people.
it can be.
Ah, I also it's just for me. Okay. Selfishly, of course.
No, it's okay, because the thing is, it's kind of like for us first, but then it's to be used with other people. So,
Okay.
for instance, my sword. Okay, I remember when I was first given a sword in the spirit as one of the gifts like that. Okay. And I received this sword. Well, it was just for me, so I thought. And then one day I was on the trading floors and the father asked me to give me or to give him my sword. And I was like, but what am I supposed to do without the sword? You know, because now I'd learned to fight with the sword. And okay, Lord, so I gave him my sword. He then gave me back this flaming sword. So I told you I have this flaming sword. That's when he gave me back this flaming sword. Well, what I have learned with this flaming sword is I can use this with other people a lot to protect them, to close portals of witchcraft, to do all sorts of things with this flaming sword that I wasn't really, I don't know if I wasn't able to do before, but at least now I know that it's also used for other people. So I will protect people with this flaming sword a lot. And that's something that is, I'm blessing them with my blessing, if that makes sense. So it's not always that I'm supposed to give people flaming swords. You know, it's still mine, but I'm supposed to use it with other people. So every day, I would say maybe not every day, but I try to most days. At least show up and say, Yeshua, is there anything you want me to focus on in the spirit over anything I'm governing or anything I'm helping to govern as well? Is there anything you want me to do? Anybody you want me to focus on, or anything that is a problem, anything that you want me to do so I can intentionally bless. So that's what by governing, I'm blessing. Okay. That's one thing that I have learned, that when I'm governing, I am blessing. I'm either
Amen.
protecting people, or I'm releasing finances, or healing someone, or turning their face to the Lord, or calling in business, or whatever I'm doing. It's always different. But what I'm doing is I am blessing. And a lot of times I will look and see, is there any curses over my mountain? So this is something that's been quite important. I didn't think of this, but oftentimes there are curses put over my mountain, and sometimes they're from me, sometimes they're witchcraft, sometimes it's from other people saying things, or the enemy trying to do stuff. But I would say actually most of the time it's witchcraft, which is crazy. But these things that are over my mountain, I am led to, I basically tear them down. Like you guys probably don't have Wheel of Fortune. Do you guys have Wheel of Fortune? Have you ever seen that? You have? Okay. Well, basically there's this giant wheel that and you pull it down and it spins and whatever. This is how I feel with the curses. I like pull it down from the atmosphere over my mountain. And it's like I pull it down and throw it to the ground. And whenever I throw it to the ground, I feel like it is useless now. Okay. It doesn't have any power anymore. And then I ask for the Hebrew living letters to come over my mountain, for blessing to come over my mountain. And so I asked them to come. And so I see them moving and coming. I kind of sweep them over. It sounds strange, but I'm sweeping them over my mountain, and they come over my mountain. I don't know if I even ever know what the blessing is. I can just feel it's a blessing from the Lord with them being there over my mountain. And so I'm trusting the blessing. I don't always know what the blessing is, but I'm trusting it. And so I would say that's an important part of doing this for me, over my mountains, my mountain of my life. That's pretty much where I always am when I'm doing that. And it kind of covers all the mountains. But you might see it over somebody else. You might be able to tear down curses over somebody else and replace it with blessings. I don't know. Everybody's a little different with their giftings too. So, you were seeing a lot of eagles. I usually, if you're seeing a lot of eagles, or if you are flying over something, you are being very apostolic. And so it could be something that you're only supposed to be doing for a moment, or it could be part of your identity. But this is, if you see that, it's important that you are functioning like that. So here's what an apostle does. If you are being an apostle, you are usually seeing things from the bird's eye view. You're seeing big picture stuff over things. You're also starting ministries or businesses or something. You are also empowering leaders. So those are three things I know apostles do. If you are seeing that and you're feeling, even just for today, that you're supposed to be looking through the eyes of the eagle or being an apostle, that needs to be on your mind. Okay, then how can I empower a leader? What am I supposed to oversee and see that's going on and change and do things? Like, how am I supposed to function here? Because usually if you see the big picture stuff, you know how things should change and move. That's what you usually see. And so think about that stuff. How can you function like that? So for me, I don't usually, actually, I rarely see anything like that. I'm not wired like that. The Lord doesn't have me function as apostle. I don't think ever, actually. I've only seen that stuff through other people's eyes because they're apostle. So I don't know any more than just functioning with other people who are like that, because I don't function like that. More often than not, I function as a lion or a man. Those are the two that I function the most as. And so when I say that, a lion is the ruler, is the one, so I can go and I can scare off the enemy very easily, because I'll roar over something or whatever. I will be able to take control and be kind of the power force, the one who rules over things in that way. Also, as a man, the priest, I will oftentimes go in and heal people. I will see things more on a one-on-one level. That's what a priest generally does. I will take on the burden of other people, and then be able to sanctify things like that, take on their curses, if you will, or whatever, or their sins or their ailments or whatever it is, and then purify it. And so that's part of who I am. And I think that whole fiery being thing is part of that for me. It's who I'm meant to be, is a purifier and a refiner. And so I can take those things on for other people. And then as long as I'm doing it with the Lord, it's beautiful. And so for me, I'm going to function a lot differently than someone who's an apostle when I'm going and governing over things. It's just true.
Christine,
So yeah, go ahead.
Question, Christine. I had a dream a couple of days ago where I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but enemies were chasing me, and I was soaring above them, but I was frightened. And in my means of escape, I ended up going into this apartment. It was like 3 or 4 floors up. And the enemy was kind of like, these guys were looking for me. The mere fact that I was frightened, does that mean I am not an apostle in the spiritual weight?
No, I don't think that that means you're not an apostle in that way at all. If you were frightened, and this was a dream, you said?
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Generally, I'll just say this. Generally, if you're frightened in that way, you're running from an enemy. You are experiencing the weight of what's happening. I often say this, that, you know, the Lord did not give us the spirit of fear, right? But there are things that he has us do that are scary, that we have to have the spirit of courage for. Courage is being scared and doing it anyway. Okay. So that is something that is very important in who we are, is knowing that we can do the scary things, and you feeling that I'm scared of them coming, but you're going and doing the thing anyway. That's really courage. And so I don't know if that's what was going on. For sure, I can't say that this is an interpretation from the Lord of your dream. But I don't think that you being frightened has anything to do with that negating your apostolic call. Okay. So I would say a ruler has a lot less fear than an apostle, in general. Are you there? I can't tell if she's frozen, if she's...
I just I cut out for a moment, but it's okay. I will watch it just to make sure.
Okay, Pearl, you are cutting out so bad. We can't hear you really. So I'm going to continue
I want
on.
to take up anyone else's time.
Oh.
Ah, you're back.
Oh, yes, you are back.
Frozen. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I think you're in a bad spot.
Thank you, Christine.
Yeah. So I guess what I was saying is, a ruler generally doesn't function in as much fear as actually all the other giftings. And I don't know, it's just part of the gifting of the ruler. I would say is to feel more power instead of feel the worry of being overtaken, you know? So in general, I think that that's more of a ruler attribute. So I don't know. I'm no expert. But I would say we need to just be really mindful of imparting blessing in our life, asking for the blessing in our life, also imparting blessing in the lives of all of those that are in our care, and even those who are not in our care. If we can be those who impart blessing, that's what we need to do. So be sensitive to doing this, I would say, as much from the heavenly realms as in the earth. You know, we talked about blessing and cursing with the mouth, but I think it's more important to think about what you're doing from the heavenly realms. As priests, heavenly priests, we need to be functioning from there more than we are from here, even. And so intentionally look over things from your mountain. I mean, that should be a place that you can sit often and you can see what's going on. If it isn't for you yet, that's fine. Always focus where the Lord leads. But I would say ask to see that every day and see, because if you do, the more you do, the more it will be natural for you to focus there. And it won't be, it'll just be like your home, you know? And that's how we want it to be with the heavenly realms, is that it's not just a place that we visit sometimes, but it's a place we can focus easily, and that our home truly is there. And so we can focus in that realm as easily as we can focus in the realm of the earth. Because for so long, we have focused so much in the realm of the earth that the heavenly realms have been a little bit foreign. And it's been something that we're kind of discovering instead of it being where we're from. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm from Kansas. When I go to the UK, I've been there a few times. You know, I don't know how many times I've been there, but I've been there a few times, and I kind of know how things work, and it's not that different from where I'm from. But there are things that I still don't know, and I still definitely feel like a foreigner when I'm there. I definitely feel like a foreigner every time I'm there. I've never felt like I'm home in the UK. I feel like I know the culture of Kansas super easily. I don't even have to think about it or try. It is my culture. You know, I fully understand the culture here and everything. I know if someone is taking too long at my house and I really feel like they've overstayed their welcome, all I do is I go, "Welp," and I slap my thighs, and then people know that means it's time to go. And so and they stand up and they leave. That is the culture here. If I did that in the UK, people would be like, "What's she doing?" You know,
She's rude.
I know. But here, that's just normal. Like, that's what we do. It means, well, we got something else going on. Let's get this going, right? And it's not rude. It's just normal culture here. That's something that I know. I also know everyone here will open a door for everyone. That is normal life here in Kansas. There's not a time when you would not open a door for someone. Everyone does that for everyone. In the UK, people bump into you and be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What?" And no one's thinking about those polite sort of things. That's not the culture there. And so it's weird for me. I'm constantly going, "Oh, sorry, 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 sorry," all the time in the UK, because everybody's bumping into everybody. And, you know, here, it's just, that's not how it is. And so I know the culture here. When I'm somewhere else, I feel weird and like an outsider. We need to be the people that the heavenly culture is who we are. And that seems really normal. And that when people come to visit, we can show them how things work. And it's not the opposite where we go, "Oh, am I doing things? Oh, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Oh, what am I doing?" You know, I remember that's how I was when I first started engaging. And I felt like a foreigner. I really did. I was like, I have to tell someone to eat this thing? You know, that doesn't make any sense. They have to eat this orb. And I'm like, what is an orb? I don't know. I'm going, what is an orb and why are you eating it? I can't tell somebody that. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, that's totally normal. You know, I absolutely understand it. It's not weird at all to me now. Even it's so funny because I'll have people who go, this is going to sound really weird what I saw. And I'm like, really try me. Like this, nothing seems weird anymore. It really doesn't. And I'm not just saying it, it really doesn't seem weird. I don't think there's anything that somebody tells me that's like, I don't know about that. You know, I'll have people say, hey, have you ever seen this? This is what's happened. And I'd be like, nope, I've never seen that, but it doesn't seem that weird. I mean, it seems like it probably is real. And it's kind of like here, I may not have been everywhere in Kansas, but it doesn't seem that weird if somebody talks about it, you know? And I think that that's how we need to be in the heavenly realms, that this is who we are. This is our culture. We understand it. And in order to do that, you need to engage it all the time. You really need to engage it all the time. And you kind of need to be from there more than you are from here. To where now things here seem a little weird instead of there seem a little weird, right? Which is, it's a shift. It's a shift. And so we have to be the people who, yeah, we love imparting blessings. This is what we do. This is who we are. We go to heaven every day and we impart blessings. Yeah, that needs to be who we are. And this is, as a priest, this is a huge part of who we are, is we are the ones who get to impart blessings to people, which is so cool. It really is one of the biggest blessings, is to be a blessing. I mean, everybody here knows that. All of you know. It's such a blessing when you get to bless someone. And so imagine being a king and you had $1 billion. Let's just say $1 billion. Okay. You had $1 billion and you could bless whoever you wanted. You could, oh, you don't have a home? Here's a mansion. Like, why not? I have it. I don't have to worry about it. I'm never running out of funds. You are a king in the heavenly realms. You have it. You have everything. And so everything is yours. You can release anything to anybody who needs it. So what if, I've thought about this a lot because in the earth, I'm not a king, okay? Not a king in the earth. I live on very meager salary, okay? I do not have very much money, but I have people in my care in the spirit that I have to provide for in the natural. That's part of what I have to do. There's this orphanage in India that not in India, in Pakistan, sorry. An orphanage in Pakistan that I support like that. There is this guy, he's an orphan from India who goes to school here in Wichita. I have to provide for him just like he's one of my kids. Now, when I say I have to, the Lord has said this to me. It is nothing anyone else has put on me. This is what the Lord has said. Well, there are times when Avinash, he's the guy who lives here in Kansas, who is going to school. There are times when he has no food and I have no money. So I'm still in charge of him. In the spirit, in the heavenly realms, I am a king. I have everything that he needs and that I need and anyone else. And so what I do is I go and I release finances over him, or I release food over him. Whatever I'm led to do, I release that from heaven into the earth over him. And every single time he gets provided for. There has never been a time that I've done that someone is starving or whatever. It doesn't happen. And it's always this great miraculous story. And I love it. I get to impart blessings to a lot of people. When the Lord puts people in your care, you get to be the ones to impart the blessings to them. It's very cool. And if we don't think of it in this earthly way, like, okay, I don't know how to do this in the earth. I really don't. I have no idea. I will say this. I have at least very few earthly skills. Okay. I'm not like, I don't really have a lot of skills. I went to school for ministry. That's what I do. All I know is ministry and all I know is spirit stuff. But heavenly resources are real. They are real. And so thankfully, I have all the resources I need if I will only focus there to release them. My main obstacle is focus, which I feel like is most of us. Am I focusing there or am I focusing on here? If I'm focusing in the earth, I often will be like, oh, how am I going to deal with this? I don't have any money or whatever. Like this, I'll be dramatic and because I'm focused here. But if I'll turn my focus back to heaven and I'll turn my focus back to the Lord, I am favored. I am highly favored. You know, people say, I'm blessed and highly favored. I don't know if people even believe that. I believe that I am blessed and I am highly favored. And so I know that I have all of the spiritual blessings that I could ever want. And honestly, I just have to ask. I just have to ask. Have you asked for your daily bread? Have you asked for the daily bread for other people? Like, do you do that? This is something I have to do. I have to go, oh, right. I forgot. I need food. I do. In fact, I need to do that right now because I am supposed to have a gumbo night tomorrow with a bunch of ladies and I don't have the money I need for the ingredients. So the Lord will provide. I have no doubt about it. All I have to do is ask. I need the ingredients. It may not show up in money. It might show up in groceries. I don't know how to work, but I know it will be there and I'm not worried about it. Right?
Amen.
So that's what we need to do. We need to be these people where we impart the blessings. So here's what I would like to do right now. Let's focus in the heavenly realms and let's ask for blessings, see what we need to do to release blessings. See if there's anything we need to reverse any curses or anything like that. Maybe mindsets. Is there any sort of mindsets that you have that need kind of changing because you might be in a cursing state or something? Let's just ask for all of this, okay? Ask to see what we need to see. All right, let's do it. All right, let's focus back here. Pearl, are you still driving? Oh, you're muted.
Got home, so I'm in the car on the drive.
I see. Okay. Well, Pearl, is there anything that you experienced that you'd like to share?
In terms of pulling down, I see like witchcraft against my body. That's one of the reasons perhaps why I am feeling some of how I'm feeling. So I'm asking the Lord if he could show me what he's doing and what he would like me to do. But I see just tearing it down, and that fiery being that I am, even as I'm talking, I'm just seeing myself cutting it down.
Nice.
Mm.
Cool. All right. How about Renelle? Is there anything that the Lord was showing you that you'd like to share?
Um, not so much of seeing anything. Just had this. First of all, I had to ask forgiveness. Not forgiveness in a way because of just not always saying not nice things about my in-laws, but I can share with friends, really just close friends. Not so much as who they are, but what they do that hurts. So I don't have a problem cursing them and who they are, but I take it what you said before. But I just felt how incredible that I can ask for forgiveness, but I can bless them in return. And then I just had this incredible, my heart just filled with this incredible feeling of gratitude that we actually have the power to really bless people. And I always wonder why so many people come my way that just happen in moments. And I know so many people, we all do, who really have natural needs and going through really tough things and illnesses and things happening to them. And then it's so incredibly, we're so privileged to have this feeling that I can really minister to them, not by just saying, I really think of you, but honestly blessing them in whatever it is they might need. A friend of mine, just her husband was diagnosed with the Parkinson's, and I just happened, she was on my mind, and I called her last week, and we met up for the first time in a very long time. And they needed to see a consultant really soon, like they could only see me in November. And I said, no, you're going to see him earlier. And I walked away, and I just thought I could really, that's what I thought when you said earlier, I can ask Yahweh for favoring them by giving them an earlier appointment, because that's really what they need, to get, medication, or just know more about the illness anyway. And that just filled me with so much joy that we can actually, and we just need to be reminded of how much and actually how easy it is to do if we just focus there more. Just focus on them and there's more.
That's cool. Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Pleasure. Hazel, is there anything that you'd like to share?
Yeah, actually, it's also a couple of Renelle said. I was asking the Lord to what I'm gonna do to be effective on releasing blessing and also being a blessing. And the Lord said that gratitude is the currency of release. So being thankful, and even though you haven't received it, and sometimes I was like smiling. The Lord is explaining that sometimes when He does this to people, that you already said thank you before it, you're just giving them the notion that they have to give you because you already said thank you. It's like having that attitude or have a perspective, or even like in a mindset that you're grateful even though you haven't received it, or you're just coming or whatever, it's magnetizing the manifestation, because you're already proclaiming that it's on you or it's upon you, even though it's just coming, or yeah, you're just pulling it to attraction. And the Lord also said something that I had to Google it, because oh, I just heard this word. The word is like exponentially functioning. So yeah, aside from being gratitude, being grateful, or in a gratitude, we also function exponentially. Like we're not expecting little, but because it's from Him, we we take it as like something big that's from the Lord. It's not like, oh, the Lord will only give you a portion, or the Lord will only give you like little thing. But once it's from Him, it's always big. So yeah, I was just happy, and as well, um, having a confirmation from Ronald that that said, yeah, I'm grateful, and being in a gratitude mindset is, yeah, it's release. Yeah, that's it.
Hey, that's awesome. Thanks. Well, as I started focus in, I was reminded that I need to bless my dogs. And so, Mush Face, my pug, he has been, for some reason, very, very, very itchy all the time. And I mean, he's scratching almost constantly. And I've used these skin and coat treatments, these allergy things, all this, and it's still like this. And the Lord had me just kind of, I don't know how to say, but kind of cover him in calm. And it was like just calm his whole skin, and not just his skin, but it kind of seeped into his inner being and just was calming him in this way. Um, and then the Lord reminded me that Neva found a flea on him. And so I needed to make sure and get rid of all of the fleas. Like, well, I don't know if I've told you this before, but one of the things the Lord has me do sometimes is if I find a bug or something in my house, I won't just call an exterminator. I will, the Lord has me work with angels to get them out of the house. And so I get them out, and then it's not a problem. And it's been like this for years, thankfully. So it has been just relieving all sorts of headaches with different kinds of things that have come in. And so I was doing that. So it's like the Lord was saying, remember, you need to govern this. And so I was just governing that and making sure that there were no fleas in the house, or, probably in the yard, but that they're not coming in the house and they're not coming on the dogs and all of that. And so anyway, I was doing that. And then the Lord had me turn my attention to my girls at first, each one of them. So I have 2 girls and 1 boy, and my girls just asking for a blessing of a husband for each of them, which I know most parents do, but that is not something I have felt led to do until today. Literally, like, I have not felt led to ask for that, because I try to only ask for what the Lord's will is for my kids. Even though it's normal for everyone to have spouses, I don't believe that's always the Lord's will. And so anyway, I did feel led today to ask for husbands for my girls. And when I went to focus on Soren, I wasn't led to do that for him for a wife. And I don't know if he isn't supposed to have a wife or doesn't want a wife, or maybe it's just not the time, but whatever the case is, I was not led to do that. And I really just wanted to then bless him in singleness. And I could tell that he would be around me for a long time. And so that was really nice to know. But I felt like this is what happens to me a lot. And this happened again today. When I started to focus in on the blessings, the Lord had me continuing to govern. And I feel like governing and blessings, they all go together. And it's like just focusing in on what you should be paying attention to and taking care of and what's in your care. This is something that's important to just practice. And, I feel like we could all do it more. Me too. Like I could do it more than I do. And just focusing in on the blessing aspect of it can lead you into so much more. And so, anyway, make this a practice, you guys. Okay. I will send you some homework so you can practice this week some more. Okay.
Can I have a
Thank
quick
you so
question?
much, Christine.
Can I have a quick question?
Of course. Go ahead.
There might be some thunder happening at home, and I really struggled last night with Lily because she gets so I couldn't get her calm. I prayed. I really thought I'd covered her in peace. I had to give her very strong medication after a while because she just wouldn't settle. And I asked her, what's the word? Not commanded. But, it's coming. No, I even told the storm to just stop, and it wouldn't happen. And I don't have any more medication for her, so I just don't want any thunderstorm this afternoon. I can't go to the vet. I know I'm able to do that, but I really find it's not worked for me when she's so upset from the storm. And if everyone could just please engage over her this afternoon if there's a storm, that she's calm, because I don't want her to she gets all hyperventilate, she doesn't settle, and she's got stitches I've got to keep intact. So it's all fine. It's just breaks my heart that I can't calm her, and I try. I'll keep trying.
Well, really focus in the heavens and trying to calm her from there. Instead of only
trying to do
thinking of calming the storm, think of calming her. And I would always ask, I'm saying this from personal experience with trying to calm a storm I wasn't supposed to calm.
I know you told me that.
Yeah, so just really do what you're led to do over Lily and over the storm or whatever. Even maybe ask if there's an angel who can come around her to really cover her and calm her in that way as well. And yeah, we can all engage over that too, because I know especially for her healing right now, it's a real important thing. It's interesting you were talking about that, because I was reminded it's another culture thing too. And your dog's a part of the culture in the UK. You guys don't have thunderstorms like we have here. And you have them, but we have them all the time, very intense. And so the dogs are totally used to it. And there's no sort of, it doesn't phase them. And so I was like, oh, this is really interesting. Oh yeah, they don't have storms like we do. And I forget that, Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you so much. I will try and engage. I'm going to, I wonder if we can maybe say on a Monday. I found trying to get everyone to make a time for engaging really hard. So I don't know if we could maybe I find it easy if I on a Monday look at the calendar, look at everyone's diary, look at the time, and say maybe make an appointment for Thursday at 3:00 if it can work. Because if I try when no one else can, then the week goes by and then it doesn't happen. So I'll send Pearl and Hazel a message tomorrow on Signal, and then maybe we can schedule something in.
Sounds good. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll get your homework sent out right now. I have 15 minutes for my next appointment. So at least you'll have that ready. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.